Major funding for these broadcasts has been provided by grants from Madison Realty Capital, New York Community Bank, M&T Bank, AmTrust Title, Ariel Property Advisors, Customers Bank, Capital One Bank, Meridian Capital Group. Additional funding has been provided by grants from AVR Realty Company, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Briarwood Organization, CBRE, Citizens Bank, Colliers International NYC, Collins Building Services, CPEX Real Estate Services, Douglaston Development Levine Builders, Flushing Bank, Friedman LLP, Handler Real Estate Organization Handro Properties, Hodges Ward Elliott INC, Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Institute at Syracuse University, John Castamatidis Red Apple Group, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Matone Group, Mercantile Bank, Newmark Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Rockefeller Group, Rosewood Realty Group, SJP Properties, Stonehenge NYC, TD Bank, Terra CRG, the Merengoff Family Foundation, the Moynihan Organization, Moynihan Capital Partners, and these friends. It's not condos. It's not rentals. What's really taking place today is tech, tech, tech. Everybody loves technology, especially for real estate. Today, with the help of my executive producer, Jonathan, who's going to introduce himself, we've assembled a group of 4 dynamic tech companies involved in real estate tech. So each one of them will introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their company. First.
Apparently, I'm executive producer of the Stoller Report, so
Correct.
I'm going to add that to LinkedIn. Jonathan Wasserstrom, co-founder and CEO of Square Foot. Square Foot helps businesses find the space that they deserve.
What do you mean, but they help us find space? What are you, a broker?
We do 3 things. So the first thing is we have a listings platform that enables any tenant in the market to be able to see what's available. We've seen that everybody, in addition to wanting access to inventory the same way they're accustomed to when they look for their new apartment on Zillow or Sheezy, they also want help with that process. So we have an in-house team of brokers that shepherds people through the process. And because we're a tech company at the end of the day, we build products, right? We build products for the tenants who are looking for space.
So what type of products do you build?
At a very high level, just anything that makes the world better for commercial real estate. What that actually means is the tenant, think about it, whatever pain point a tenant would have while they're going through the process, which is they're taking pictures with their phone, they're writing on the lovely PDF that their other broker printed out, and they're needing to share that with their partner who sits in San Francisco. We have a mobile touring app for our tenants that enables them to do all that in one nice little shiny toy. Our brokers have their own app that enables them to take pictures and videos where they're in the market, so that a broker's in the market today with a tenant, and that same broker has another client who wants to look at that same space tomorrow. We've already centralized all of that data to make it easier and more efficient for the next group.
What states do you operate in currently?
Yeah, New York's our main market. We launched the business in Texas and still do a fair bit of business in Houston and Dallas and Austin. We'll be launching some new markets in addition to that going into next year.
Next.
Cyril Berdugo, co-founder of Lendis. We transact single-family homes.
Explain what you mean transact.
We transact, okay. We have large buyers who want to purchase single-family properties and rent them out. We know what they want. We go find off-market properties through data science, all off-market properties. We match them with our buyers.
Are you the mathematician or is it your partners?
No, I'm the dumb one. My co-founder is the smart one. Yeah, I'm the business person.
But what if somebody was an individual and they wanted to buy 20 single-family homes. Would you take that clientele?
Nope. We only deal with institutions. We don't want to deal with smaller investors because we want to reach scale with our buyers, and we want to be very specific in terms
What
of what we need.
happens if that institution says, you know what, I don't like you. I'm going to do this myself.
I wish that said that. Maybe I wouldn't have started the company, but in the end, they liked us, and we started the company, and we're growing.
So tell me how
Doing well.
many institutions you represent.
We have 35. We have 90% of the largest single-family home holders in the U.S.
And what information do you provide to your clients?
We find properties for them that they haven't seen anywhere else, and they purchase them through us. It's very simple.
Now, you're the broker that you...
Yeah, we represent the transaction.
So, for example, if I had a single-family home, okay, or I had more than that, you would come to me and say, hey, Michael, I'd like to buy your home? What's the procedure? I can
No,
understand
not
his
you,
business.
because we know the kind of business you're in. We wouldn't deal with you. We wouldn't trust you. But a regular flipper or mom and pop investor who owns a portfolio of single-family homes would typically work with them on the sell side. That's right.
And you sell the home,
We do.
and you get a brokerage commission.
From the buyer only. We're free to sellers, which is the reason why we have very good deal flow. Sellers have every incentive in the world to work with us.
The buyer pays you the commission.
That's right.
You have to be licensed?
Yeah.
Are you licensed in every state, or how many states?
We're not national yet. We operate in 19 states.
And what's the most active states?
The top 3 markets for us are Atlanta, so Georgia, Southwest Florida, Tampa, and Orlando, and Indianapolis.
Is there a specific age of the homes?
Yeah, typically our buyers want to buy properties that are 25 years or less, something like that.
Next.
Jay Goldklang, founder and CEO of Great Jones. We're
Named after a restaurant on a street, correct?
named after the street that the restaurant is on. So 2 blocks in, I guess, the East Village, NoHo area. That's where we founded the company. That's where we started building technology and growth. But what we're doing is combining technology with experienced operators to really change and modernize how property management works for owners of homes like the ones Cyril deals in, single-family homes,
So
small-scale
you're
homes.
doing the management for single-family homes.
We're doing management, in particular, focused on single-family homes and duplexes, say,
Of an investor.
of really, we talk about a couple different profiles. So we have investors who are in a very professional way acquiring dozens or more homes in a portfolio. We also serve someone who inherited a couple homes, someone who acquired a home, who's growing, where really what they're looking for, it's incredibly widespread. There's something like 25 million Americans who own rental homes. They want that income. They don't like the headaches because at the end of the day, a lot of operational pieces around maintenance or tenant relationships. And so they often turn to, historically, they may have been managing it themselves. They may have turned to a third-party property manager. But in this space,
But there is a physical
it's very
manager.
subscale.
Correct? There is a physical manager.
For us, there's absolutely a physical manager. But what our goal is to deliver great local service where there is that element of boots on the ground for what's best done that way, but backed by centralized operations and technology where we're able to automate certain things, we're able to do certain functions at scale, because what property management comes down to is really a lot of task management, and there's really a lot of ways that we can connect that system now that vendors can have cloud-enabled tools in their pockets, and now that we can design, functionally oriented structures where we can have maintenance specialists, leasing specialists who achieve much more efficiency than a local company who's only in one location and can't invest in that technology or can't invest in that sort of structure.
And you're only operating right now in Florida.
So right now we're covering three relatively large areas of Florida: Southwest Florida, Tampa, and Orlando, where we're sort of proving out this model and then taking it to new markets next year.
And last but not least, who happens to be, I believe, the oldest of the group also.
Thank you for pointing that out.
I just wanted to, make the...
Second oldest
You're older? No, you're the second oldest, I know.
of this group.
Of this group, okay.
Ari Barendrecht. I'm the founder, CEO of Wired Score.
And what is a wired score?
Wired Score operates a building certification called Wired Certification, similar to LEED or Energy Star, but focused on the digital infrastructure of buildings, not sustainability. What that means is when a tenant is looking for office space, they can look for buildings that are Wired certified, and that tells them that.
How do you certify? I mean, it's like the certification. There's a CPA, you know, there's a certified property manager. How do you certify a building is wired correctly?
Yeah, it's not the most glamorous certification process. We send trained engineers into buildings to trace and observe and take pictures of digital infrastructure. So they're looking at the places in the building where cabling comes in, figuring out who owns that cabling, what type of service that it is.
What do you mean, who owns that?
Which internet service provider.
Okay.
Because something that's kind of crazy about real estate and internet service providers is that no one seems to know where they have equipment or who's providing service. So if you ask a property manager in an average New York City building, which internet service providers do you have? They'll pull out like a dusty piece of paper from their desk that will have 7 companies listed. 3 will be out of business. 2 will have been acquired by somebody bigger.
Netscape went out of business 12 years ago, right?
And that gets handed to head of engineering at a tenant, at a business, and they're like, what is this? Like, I can't deal with this. This isn't the right data for us to make decisions about the building.
What happens if you find out that this building that we think has great connectivity really doesn't have any quality? What do you do?
So for us,
Do we send in the Midas Muffler man to fix the connectivity, 3 more little engineers?
Yeah, I mean, there's...
Like he's going to get another property manager over there?
Well, property management does have to do some work when this happens. We basically rate buildings 1 to 100. Go back to the building owner and say, Mr. and Mrs. Building Owner, you've received a 40 out of 100. That's below our certification standard. But here's a roadmap of things you could do to improve. Bring in new internet service providers, increase the redundancy and resiliency of the equipment in your building so that it doesn't go out. There's a load of recommendations we can give so that a building can compete with the Hudson Yards of the world and the best buildings that are being built today.
Now, here's the question for Jonathan. How important is a building when you're showing a tenant if it has a high wired score value?
Yeah.
Can they get a higher rent because of that?
It's clearly one of the top 2 or 3 things that most companies care about, say, when they're looking for space is, do I have good internet? It matters a lot more for some companies than for others, but even for the ones that it doesn't matter, it still matters, right? So if you're a tech company, it's a no-brainer. It's the very first thing you're asking about the fiber, about the redundancy, a whole bunch of other words that I won't understand. But even if you're a law firm, you want to make sure that you can operate on the internet, right? Because everything you're doing is online. So it matters for them as well.
Now, you're only predominantly office buildings right now.
Only office.
And you're operating in how many states?
We are in nationwide and in 6 countries. So US, Canada, Ireland, UK, France, and Germany.
So now here's the question. We know who you are and what you do. Why'd you go into this business? What created the impetus for you to go into this business? What were you doing before?
Directly before I was in business school, and before that I was at JLL. And shortly after business school started, I got a call from a friend of mine who went online to try and find space for his last company. And he just found his new apartment online. He does everything in his world online. He assumed he could find office space online. That's when my phone rang. Jonathan, I just tried to find office space. How the hell do I do this? And that's when the light bulb went off for us, and we decided to try and fix that.
And you, sir?
I worked with a lot of agents on the acquisition side. I was at a real estate private equity firm, and I realized that agents could actually be empowered by using a little bit of data science. And so with my co-founder, who's a data scientist, we started by aggregating a lot of data from public sources, all the public records in every county in the US. And we started being able to predict which buyer was going to buy which property. That's how we started the company. And very quickly, we monetized that principle.
Why do you only limit it to single families?
So the goal, the mission of the company is to be in every asset class. We're pretty young, and right now we're only in single family because single family rentals are very easy to transact. They're bought sight unseen within a couple weeks, and our buyers buy thousands of them every year. So it's very easy for them to close on a few within a couple weeks.
And you look at the your customer base is, since they buy other types of properties, you might as well sell them the same situation.
Actually, most of our buyers only buy single-family homes.
Really?
Yeah, they're very specific buyers of single-family rentals. They've built technology and valuation models around single-family rentals specifically.
Jay, how do you decide, you and your partner, Mr. Diaz?
Dave Diaz, right. I was working in a different area. I was with some parallels. So I was working at an online marketplace called First Dibs. It's for high-end furniture and antiques. And so I was in a role building out this e-commerce platform, but it was very operational. You're talking about the logistics of, selling a high-end armoire and moving it across the Atlantic Ocean. And I was starting to think about starting a new company that brought together this sort of operational product. And I came upon the fact that the management of, you have all these investors in single-family homes, small multifamily buildings, very painful, very old school how it's managed. And I became convinced that actually there was this opportunity to create a lot more transparency by doing a lot more of it through technology and being more sophisticated about the operational structure. And so I wanted to learn really who changed how this sort of real estate was managed, because what Cyril was talking about the Blackstones, the Starwoods of the world buying tens of thousands of houses, that didn't exist 10 years ago. It became very clear that Dave Diaz was one of the people who figured out that new sort of operational structure and had built teams that managed 10,000 homes over the last several years. And so we started talking about how to start a company that would bring that sort of rigor and the sort of information at people's fingertips to the Main Street owner as opposed to the Wall Street owner.
And you, last but not least again?
Yeah, my background's predominantly been in management consulting for my career. I spent a lot of time working with companies in traditional industries adjust to a digital world. I worked with newspapers, for example, for a couple of years, helping newspapers figure out how do we transform our business given that all of our revenues can be coming from online and not from print subscribers. So that's my background. I heard rumors from some local folks in real estate that there was a problem impacting the real estate community, that tenants are starting to ask all these questions about internet connectivity that no landlord was prepared to answer.
I don't think the landlord had the answers at all.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And
Mayor Bloomberg and his team at the Economic Development Corporation also understood this problem, and I was able to partner with Mayor Bloomberg and his team to launch the first ever rating system for internet. So our first day was a Mayor Bloomberg press conference announcing that New York City will be bringing transparency into where you can find great internet and where you cannot, because he believed this was vital to ensure that New York City kind of maintains its position as a global tech hub.
So here's a big question. What if Mike Stoller or another company comes out there and competes with you as a certification, okay? LEED certification. I hire 3 engineers or 3 mathematician friends of his over there.
Mm-hmm. Don't do that, guys. But
okay. But what if I want to be a competitor of yours? Are there competitors?
There's no competitors today. I would be cocky to say there will never be competitors, but we believe that if we can kind of build awareness around wired scores, the industry standard, not just with landlords, but brokers, tenants, architects, engineers.
The good housekeeping seal of approval.
Yeah, it's a simple language that everybody can use to talk about something that's complicated in telecommunications, so that's the idea.
How difficult was it for each one of you to go into business, and how difficult is it to raise money today? Jonathan?
Both are hard. I guess starting it wasn't that hard because I didn't have to quit a job, so that was nice. I admire people who quit their jobs. I was in business school, so I didn't have a job to quit. And starting it was fine. Raising money is always a fun process, especially like we've been at this for a handful of years, and the interest in commercial real estate technology and prop tech is a relatively new thing, which is fantastic for us and for all of us and for the industry. But that wasn't the case 6 years ago when we were started, and we would go to a landlord, much less a VC, and say, hey, this is what we're doing, and they looked at us like we had a third eye on our forehead. So thankfully for all of us, for our next financing rounds, it will be easier, as easy as it can get, but fundraising is never easy.
All right.
I think for us, we were fortunate in some ways because we didn't have to build a really complicated technology. So I didn't need to go raise a couple $1 million from day one to hire a team of developers or software engineers. My challenge was convincing the SL Greens and the Rudins of the world that they should have this certification that's never existed before.
Were you the salesman also?
I was everything for about a year. And then I had my first employee as our head of business development still today.
Jay?
I think in terms of fundraising, I think that the opportunity we wanted to pursue was a large one. So we sort of made an intentional decision to raise venture funding, which has allowed us to build technology that.
How hard was it for you to raise venture?
Well, I think that I think I probably started on a different timeline from Jonathan. So
you started
the
what,
business January of 2017.
Right. So
there was probably
Jonathan's 2012, 2013.
17.
Cyril, 17
yeah.
also.
So I mean, undoubtedly, a lot of conversations with people who weren't interested or sort of wanted to see more proof. But I think people recognize that it's unlikely that the way this huge asset class is managed today would continue to be the way.
Cyril?
I want to ask you a question, a very simple question. What do you think is the aggregate number in terms of valuations of all the real estate tech companies around the world today? Just what do you guys think it is?
WeWork included?
Including WeWork, including Airbnb.
Well less than 100 billion.
Interesting. Okay.
Probably, I'd say close to 100 billion, that's all.
I'd say 75.
Okay. It's 250.
Oh.
What?
Which is actually tiny. It's a very small number.
Relative to asset
250
class.
in today's world, okay? But if you went back 5 years ago, that 250 could have been 20 billion.
Even less than that,
Or-
actually.
Right.
Yeah, it was less than that. And venture capital firms understand that when you look at global values of real estate, it's orders of magnitude, that number. And it's going to catch up. And so they want to ride that wave. And we're seeing a lot of venture capital firms focusing specifically on prop tech, real estate tech.
Yep.
And all of us are benefiting from that. And that's a really good thing for us. So it's always difficult to raise money, but
how hard is it to educate the venture capital or the seed capital to go into this business, okay? Somebody may have a great idea, like both of you, went over there. You were fortunate that your great idea was also helped by the fact that Mayor Bloomberg was in favor of this,
Yep.
okay? So that was, you had a little head start over the others. When you go to people, you have to be able to accept rejection, right?
Just how Michael's saying he rejected me.
Yeah.
In case you guys couldn't read between the lines there.
No, you know what?
How do you feel about executive producing the show?
My rejection was I wanted somebody who's actually in the business to see how he thought about it, because I wasn't actually in the business. I want somebody who's in that business who could see it. Your business is simple, okay? The connectivity, everybody realizes that the internet is terrible in different type of properties and so on. And it's also an education, and you're right over there. But the idea of the single-family home, it wasn't a big business, okay? The private equity people weren't in this business 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. They went into the business overnight after the 2008 recession. So it's a different world, different time. How receptive are the VCs today, or the seed, or the angel investors, as they say?
We're all sitting on a nice foundation, which is total addressable market. And I think that's the first slide or top 3 slides in anybody's fundraising deck. And that helps VCs and other types of investors get excited off the bat. And I think it's very well known now that real estate's been slow to adopt technology, but is kind of coming around. Landlords are starting to hire people to focus on innovation and investments internally. There's a lot of headwinds that we can all benefit from a fundraising perspective.
What's the next product for each one of you in your businesses? What else could Wired Score do?
Yeah, we're taking a look at new services we can offer to buildings that have our rating to help them manage the technology within their buildings. We're also looking at other asset classes outside of office.
You?
Yeah, so I mean, we're still building out plenty of our core vision around property management is all these little things, all these data points. How do you grow it from leaving three distinct sections of Florida to be into different states? It's a lot about what it takes to be more and more effective in Florida. It's how can we give great people the best tools we can to have them do their work, and in the process,
How many homes
all of
are
that
you
becomes
managing
more and more
today?
transparent to the owner. Several hundred.
And how many houses have you traded over the last couple
I
of years?
wish I could disclose that number. You asked the right questions. It's beautiful. In terms of the new products, we're building very interesting technology on the A to Z stack on the transaction. So from sourcing all the way down to closing and everything in between, escrow, et cetera.
So here's what's going to happen. Within the next 6 months, I'm going to invite each one of you back, okay? And we're going to talk about where the market is and to see what's happening, how difficult it is and the changes over there. I'd like to thank my executive producer, Jonathan.
I don't get to talk about my next product.
Okay, his next project. Cyril, Jay, and Ari, and I'll see you next week.